Hey guys, it's Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and I'm just coming before you guys because I haven't really done any content lately, and honestly, it's hard to be a creative and you are not really feeling like creating because of life. And it's Thursday as I'm recording this, so hopefully I'll get this uploaded on Thursday. But yeah, I just wanted to come before you guys because I just had some thoughts and just wanted to be a little bit transparent. Um caregivers. Caregivers a lot there's so many people that are caregivers, and a lot of them do not get the support that they need. They don't get the recognition that they deserve, and a lot of them don't look for recognition. They just would like to be appreciated. They would like to be taken care of if they need it so that they can continue to care for the ones that they are here caring for. And I was inspired to just talk about this a little bit, just a moment of truth. But if you saw the actor Gene Hackman, I believe he was 95 years old. His wife was in her 60s. They found her husband and herself and one of their dogs were dead in their home for several days. And that story is very sad, but what I took from that story was that she was her husband's caregiver, and she also had her own struggles and illnesses and issues, and it doesn't really seem like she was getting the real help that she needed, because a lot of times just helping other people can take a toll on you. And I can say that whew, that's kind of in my story. I don't want this to be very long, but for those of you that are not new here, you know that I've shared my story a little bit, at least, of how my husband has been diagnosed with PTSD. And I haven't really gone into a whole lot of details about things because it is difficult when you're talking about someone else's struggles. But in all fairness, I feel like I should be able to talk about some of it because I'm dealing with it too. And as the spouse of a disabled veteran, there's just a lot that I deal with that really isn't fair, and I don't get the help and the support that I need. I'm thankful to have, some people in my life that I know really love me. And if they could do more, they would do it for me. But people, everyone has their own life going on. Like, that's just a part of life, right? But if I need my mom and I reach out to her, she'd be there for me in a heartbeat. And she is, and I'm grateful to still have my mom here, and I'm praying to God that I will have her for, a lot longer. But caregivers, a lot of them do not get the care and the support that they need. And myself being a caregiver, the I've reached out to the VA on a number of occasions seeking support for myself. I've gotten therapy on my own, just seeking it for myself through different avenues and resources. And hey, I may just have to continue to do that. But it's really sad, the state of affairs and, and everything that's going on. But just to give just a little bit of details, if you've been seeing the stories about Kanye West, especially recently, he said a lot of terrible things in tweets on social media about people, his ex-wife and ex-wife's family. He said a lot of terrible things about Beyonce and Jay-Z's children, and a lot of terrible things that he's been saying about other people. There's no excuse for that. I'm not here to excuse that behavior at all. But I'm actually also here to say that I can relate a portion to that. I'm not going to say all of that. But my husband has been diagnosed with PTSD several years ago. I know he's had it a whole lot longer, but a lot of things that have just transpired in the last 5 years that has been coming to the surface, and me just really being his advocate and reaching out to the VA on his behalf myself in late 2023. It's because of me that a lot of the things that he's even getting now is because I was the one that made the steps to do that. But long story short, there are other things mentally that he's dealing with that I believe, and he just hasn't been diagnosed with it yet, as as well as, those things affect physically. So they're physical, health things as well. And I always try to remind people too, even though I sometimes forget it as well, because it's just kind of the way things are. Mental health is physical health because it's the brain. The brain is a body part. And even when I was encouraging my husband in this mental health journey, I was giving some examples to let him know, like, you're not crazy. This is a health issue. Like, if you had, just anything that we can think of physically, if it was a stomach issue, if it was your throat, you know, um, you were in an accident and God forbid got busted through the glass, and you would go to see a health professional for that, right? You would go to the hospital for that. Same thing with your brain. Your brain is malfunctioning and it's causing you to act out in a lot of different ways. And in this journey, I don't know from day to day what it's going to be like. And that definitely is hard. It is exhausting. And when you do not get the help and the support that you need as a caregiver, it weighs on you heavy. It really does. So I saw that story about Gene Hackman and saw that the autopsy report, it said that it looks like she possibly passed away first, and then because she wasn't there to care for him, that's why he probably passed away after, several days after, because she wasn't there to take care of him. She couldn't give him his med. She couldn't do the other things that she was doing for him. And God forbid that be my portion. But my point of that is that if a caregiver isn't really getting the help and support that they need, then it's impossible for them to really take care of the other people that need the help. And in the stuff that I've been going through with my husband's health, it has really been hard. And I have been trying my best to be my own advocate. Like they say on the plane, you have to put your oxygen mask on before you can secure anyone else's. And that's really true. But, just in life's journeys, a lot of times we kind of forget that. And I had to take a breath today because it was just some stuff that was going on this morning. And I just said, you know what? I need a break. I need a break. And the break wasn't even really a break. It was just me honestly working longer to get a break away from the emotional, the manic episodes, because I've been dealing with stuff like that too, similar to like the Kanye West stuff, where you don't know what is going to come out of this person's mouth. And that is, it's a very frustrating and exhausting space to be in. My husband was in the hospital for a couple of weeks last year, end of last year, due to, this stuff that's going on. And I've never been in a space like that before. It's just really been scary. So now, with there being some health setbacks and relapses and, mental health, there's going to be more care needed, and I'm working to try to make that happen, but I don't know if it's going to, especially with what's going on with the federal government right now and all the things that the current administration is doing. It just makes you want to scream. I definitely feel like screaming. So honestly, there's so much that I've been wanting to do creatively, but when you are feeling exhausted, when you're kind of feeling discouraged, you can't be creative. I have thoughts about a lot of things that I want to do and create, and I've even made notes when I've had the time to do it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a video about this. I want to talk about this. I want to share about this and get my insight on this. And I haven't had the energy and strength to do it because I just haven't been feeling supported. And that's sad. It's really sad. I know it won't always be this way, but I just wanted to take a moment to do a quick video because I haven't done any content recently and I am not wanting to get to the place where it's many months and I haven't done anything. So I just wanted to do a quick video update on Thursdays. When I do videos on Thursdays, I like to do life and lifestyle, content or lifestyle vlogs. And this is just a vlog, just sharing my thoughts on, caregivers and how we who are caregivers, or if you know a caregiver, they don't really get the help and the support that they need, and they need it. We need it. I am a caregiver. Most caregivers, it wasn't something that they chose to be. It was the position that fell into their lap. And we don't complain about it, but we need support too. We really do. And and I've spoken with the VA caregiver support line a few times, and sometimes they're there just to be a voice that you can speak to, so you can vent and share your frustrations too, and things like that. And they're always constantly reminding me, you have to know that this isn't your husband and it's not his fault and whatever. And it's like, yeah, I hear all of that, but yeah, like when you as the caregiver, if there are times when it gets to a place where you feel like you are not being appreciated, or even you feel like you're being attacked in some way, verbally, or just not being appreciated, or just saying things that are, they're not thinking about what they're saying, and they're not caring about how they may be sounding because they're frustrated about how they're feeling. It's not fair, because it's like, I have stuff going on too, but I'm not taking my frustrations because of what I'm going through and my health out on you. And we are not perfect. We all may have moments where we snap on someone. And I definitely, I've had my moments where I've done that too. I'm a human being. I'm a human being. I have feelings. And excuse me, I am far from, I'm far from perfect. But none of us are. And we all should be cared about. And especially if you are a caregiver, you definitely should be cared for. So self-care really is important. And I will say that I've been doing my best to, try to keep up with that. I know my hair is looking crazy right now a little bit. I apologize, guys. But and I'm trying to still take care of my skin. I'm a licensed esthetician, so I'm still doing that. I still get stress breakouts from time to time, so you may see a few of those here and there, but I'm still not really wearing makeup. I don't want to cover anything up. This is just who I am, and this is what I'm going through. And there are moments where sometimes I just feel like crying. All I feel like doing is crying, and I don't feel like praying. I don't feel like talking or whatever. But that's just a part of the human experience. But I don't stay there. I shake myself. I get myself up. I pray. I'm like, God, I know you see me. I know you see what I'm going through. And it's going to get better and better and better and better. But right now, I just don't feel like that. But I believe that it's going to get better. So I'm trusting you and I'm standing on your word. And, when the word says to think on these things that are good and just and lovely, of a good report, and if there be any virtue or praise to it, think on those things and not thinking on the things that make you feel bad or down. So I'm trying my best to do that. But, when it seems like a lot of the stuff that you're dealing with and going on around you is bad, it's hard to not look at those things, right? And that's when we have to look up and not look around and look down, but look up. So I'm trying my best to look up, because even when if I'm crying and I look up, the tears may not flow, as much. It kind of does something to the tear ducts, I think. I don't know. I'm not scientific in that way. But the moral of the story is, I just wanted to give some encouragement to those of you who may be caregivers or who knows caregivers. You are seen, you are appreciated, and most importantly, you have to appreciate yourself and know that you are a great person. You're doing something that a lot of people would not do, would not do. And it's kind of sad. I think about it sometimes when you see people on the streets that are walking and they're talking to themselves and whatever. You don't know these people, you don't know their life's journey. And I do believe, unfortunately, a lot of times some of those people may have been veterans who served in the military for this nation. And because they didn't have anyone to care for them, they just couldn't deal with the people. Now they're just walking the streets, roaming and speaking and talking to, they think, other people, but they're talking to themselves. And I'm not saying that my husband is that far gone, but what I am saying that is that there have been moments where it could have been that, and that's sad. I've been married for a long time, and I've just never, you never know what you're going to go through in your future. You can hope and pray for what you want, but you never really know what you're going to get. And I just never thought that my life would be here. And trying to think how to put it. I don't even know if I want to go there because I want to talk about really myself and not so much other people. But one of the saddest parts of it is I've been married for a long time, and I do not get any type of acknowledgement or support from his side of the family. I don't look to expect it either. That's the other thing too. But I've been married for 26 years. So this isn't like someone I just met or I've known for a couple of years and we just decided to get married. Health, health disparities and mental health issues and things didn't really start showing its ugly head until the last few years, really. And, and me making the decision to move forward and get it addressed and advocate for him, because if I didn't know any better, which I knew that that was not my husband, I would have just been thinking, oh, he's angry or he's mad or whatever. But I've never been with a person like this. And now it's almost like when he is not on his meds, when he's not being cared for, or, having a paranoia episode or a manic episode or a psychotic episode, it's like that is my husband, but when he goes through the things, that's not my husband. And it's different. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you see, if you look at like the gossip blogs and you see the online news stories about Kanye West and the terrible things that he's been saying about people that he knows, that is, that's, it's like a bipolar schizophrenic thing. It's not right. And I'm not excusing it, but that's not normal. It's mental. And even sadder for him, he's got so much money, but because he's got so much money, he has options to address it so that he can regulate that, but he chooses not to. So who's going to tell him no, or who's going to tell him you're wrong? It's going to take somebody to make a move and do something to shut him down, because it's just not right. And I'm far from married to a Kanye West in terms of the wealth and, access and stuff like that. So I don't know that aspect of things, but I know the aspect of someone that is not well mentally and they're having these manic episodes, and you as a person that knows this person, you know that that's not them, but it's like, but what do I do to fix this, because this is just not right? And I've been dealing with stuff like that. And it is exhausting. So if you're dealing with stuff like that, it is hard to be creative. Okay. So I've just, here recently, because of the setback, been not really focusing too much on the creative side of myself, just doing the regular things that I do in my business, working with clients, shipping products out, that type of stuff. But hopefully I'll be able to get back to things soon. You guys who are subscribed to the channel, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for subscribing. If you have not subscribed, thank you for your comments, your encouragement, your support. It is hard being a caregiver. I never, like I said, never expected to be in this place, at least not this early in my life. I'm still kind of young. I'm in my mid 40s. But you never know what you're really going to go through in life. So I did, marry my husband, and I said for better or for worse. And even that has its limits, but, you know, when you're dealing with someone that's sick and then you feel like you're not being appreciated and you're also kind of being um, critiqued or put down, in some ways when all you're trying to do is help and support, that stuff could be drivers to be like, you know what, freak this, I'm out of here. But again, those are thoughts. It's not actions, it's thoughts that come up. But I have been exhausted and I've been hopeful for things to turn around. I'm not sure what the VA is going to do. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to continue to live as I pray and believe that things are going to get better for me. But I wanted to just talk about that because all day today, I just kept hearing caregivers need care. Caregivers need care. And a lot of caregivers are not getting cared for and they're not being supported. And we who are caregivers, we really do deserve to be cared for. And it would be helpful if the people that we're caring for were appreciative of the care. But I get it. Sometimes, they're not feeling good within themselves. That it's kind of hard to express appreciation when they're kind of pissed about what they're going through. But it's not fair to take it out on the ones that are caring for you because it's not their fault that you're in the position that you're in. So I'm of the mindset of trying to be as grateful as possible at all times. And I'm grateful. Things are not all terrible, but they're not all great. They're not, and I'm just being honest. So again, I just wanted to be transparent with you guys. I know I don't get great deal of comments over here, but I do know that people are watching, and I know, like myself, because I consume a lot of content too. A lot of times I consume content and I'm not able to leave comments either. But if you're able to and you've watched us through the end, I would love it if you would just drop a heart in the comment section. That would, heart or prayer hands emoji. You don't have to leave a soliloquy or a paragraph or even, words. But just let me know that you've watched us through the end and you care for this caregiver here. I am Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and I share the Bible when I do share, and that's business inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. I am a licensed esthetician, a skincare line creator, and a beauty business owner and operator of over 16 years now. And I'm also a caregiver. So guys, thanks so much for being here, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care. And I hope you all have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.